Tell me about your rowing background before you became associated with the adaptive program.
I began rowing in college, and I rowed about 4 years all throughout college at the University of Vermont. So I rowed a little bit in Philadelphia at Villanova University as well.
Yeah.
So, and then I didn't row for about 10 years before I ran into Randy Mills here at a derby party.
Yeah.
And he told me about the adaptive rowing program.
So he recruited you to come down and take a look at it?
Yes.
So when you came down and took a look at it, what did you think?
Well, I just love the sport of rowing. So I just thought it was incredible to get people involved in the program and people with some disabilities and allow them to do something that's so unique and just a great sport.
So you wanted to chime in?
Yes.
So, but in your earlier rowing experience, you rowed with other people in sweep boats and doubles.
I primarily was a sweep rower, and I just rowed in 4s and 8s in the past.
So the idea of getting in a boat with somebody else is not new to you?
No. Probably the biggest obstacle was learning how to scull versus just sweep rowing.
Who did you row with first?
I think I just started with Jenny.
So you started with Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
So you started with somebody who needed a seat, had grips, and probably the most suited up person on the water.
Well, actually, I think it was at that derby party where Randy was like, "I've got the perfect rower for you."
Yeah.
And her name is Jenny, and you two are going to row together. So from the first day I met him.
So when you got down to the dock and all of this, and it became apparent that you're actually going to do it today, what were you feeling?
Well, he had me as an unexperienced sculler. He had me go out with him, I believe, first, or another experienced rower. So I did go. That was probably my biggest concern, was making sure I could actually scull.
Okay.
So once we kind of got the hang of that, I was then put with an adaptive rower at that point.
Did you have any concerns when you actually were going to get in the boat with Jenny? Or anything?
No, I mean, the boats are quite safe. So it's not, I felt like the boats were quite safe, so I wasn't really too concerned.
So, but as a rower, you looked at the whole situation, the equipment and everything else, to determine the safety in your own mind.
Yes, yeah.
What did you think, Jenny? Here's a new lady showing up that you don't know. It's going to get in the boat with you.
Great. I mean, we hadn't had any female volunteers, so put me with Jenny and just kind of hit it off.
And how was that experience?
It's always good. It's always fun out there. So,
okay. For you
I honestly
too.
don't even remember how we did. I think it was one of those really close races.
Yeah, I think it was very close.
Almost too close.
Now, have you partner rowed with other people besides Jenny?
Yep, I've rowed with Megan a couple times. Megan and I rowed in one of the Viatas together, but I've also just, on a given Saturday, we'll pretty much.
So you'll come down and deal with
whoever
anybody.
needs it.
We have other boat houses and organizations that are starting adaptive programs. One of their biggest concerns is not only to find volunteers, but how to train them to work with disabled athletes. And what would you say to the managements and then to the people who are potential volunteers?
Well, I think safety is probably just the number one issue, of course. So I think as long as you have the safety of the equipment and the correct boats, so the more experienced rower you have, probably the easier it will be. But it doesn't take too much to also train somebody who's just willing to volunteer and help out and try something new. So,
And how about you, Jenny? Where would your rowing be if there had not been any volunteers available?
It'd be non-existent. I mean, without volunteers, I can't even get on the water. I couldn't get the boats on the water. I couldn't get down the ramp. I couldn't get into the boat. So you've got to have volunteers in order to have a program.
Now, you've had more than one partner to row with besides
First
Jenny.
year, yeah, a lot of times we'll just I think the first year I rode with Randy and Sharon and Ann I've rode with as well. But I think Jenny and I seem to stick together pretty well. And even this morning, I had the option of possibly going out in the single or getting in the double. I'm like, let's get in the double. So, because it's been probably a year since we rode together. So, it was just
You
good.
looked really good on the water.
Yeah.
You really did. You're cranking along. You keep up with her high stroke rate.
Yeah.
She has one. We figured out, what was it the other day, 48.
48.
And so, all right. Anything else you want to say to potential volunteers?
No, it's just, like I said, rowing is just an amazing sport. So I think it's a great sport if you are an adaptive rower, volunteer, or just somebody
Just do
wants
it.
to get in the sport of rowing. It's a wonderful sport.
Don't worry about it. Get out and do it.
Yeah.
Same with, I know Jenny feels, the other Jenny feels it.